Hello everyone, my name is Amber Dawson and I am so excited and grateful to Shu-Wen for inviting me to participate in the March Stretch Your Stamps video series. So this month is digital stamps and I have a couple different ideas on projects and ways you can take it a little bit further. So I hope you're excited. I have 3 how-to videos and then one video at the end I will be sharing a link to from my YouTube channel with some more ideas to take from these and build on. So I hope you're excited and can't wait to get started. Hello everyone. For my first project here, I'm going to be working on creating a vinyl transparency page using some travel themed digital stamps from Ali Edwards. So what I'm going to do is create a 9x12 title page using this, which is actually from the December Daily 2019 prep party. It was a file that we got for like a $5 class. So a lot of people could potentially have this already in their collection of digital stamps. I'm also going to be adding a couple icons. I've got a little cruise ship down here from her 2021 travel stamp collection. This is a geotag that's from one of her previous collections. And then I'm also going to create some 3x4 cards using these digital wood veneer pieces. They're all going to be transparent pieces that will help tie a similar themed item throughout my travel album. I haven't even really started creating it. The only thing I've done so far was make a 9x12 itinerary page using actual physical icon stamps, and I shared a video doing that in my Stretch Your Stamps video that I released in February. I'll be sure to link that for you. So one of the first things I'm going to do is go create a new file in Photoshop. I already have a 9x12 created here because I use that size often. So you'll notice that the width is 9 inch, the height is 12 inch, and the resolution is 300 pixels per inch. So I'm going to go ahead and separate those two out, drag this over here. And what I love about working with PNG files is that all I have to do is create on this, is to click on the move tool and drag and drop that onto my canvas. Now you want to make sure to stick with manipulating the corners only. If you try to use the up or downs, it will not work very well because it will stretch the product out in a way that you may not prefer for that to happen. So I just need to restretch that out again. I want it kind of centered. I want it to be really large. I might even go a little bit smaller. I've got it just about centered there. And I also want to use these little digital icons as well. I'm just going to click out of that space for now. I'm going to create a new layer. This will allow me to add some different items on here. I'm just going to do the same thing. Click move. And it doesn't matter that this is blue because when I move everything into the Silhouette software, it's going to be black anyway. So I could color it black. It does not honestly really matter. What I'm wanting to look at right now is the size and seeing if I'm happy with the size. I'm going to make it slightly larger there. So in doing so, I'm already starting to realize that this needs to probably be a little bit smaller. Like I want it to be fun and like taking over the whole page, but I also want, I'm looking for center here. I also want it to not be hard to look at, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So here I have this digital stamp. And what I actually want to do is reverse the image. So I'm going to do a you can either flip it horizontally, which will turn it in that direction. So that'll be the easiest way to do it. I'm going to drag that little icon over here, and I'm actually going to pull at the corners here and kind of, I want this part to be straight down here, and I'm going to make it a lot smaller. So just kind of trying to include some fun little icons. I want to make that black just because, oops, it's, I don't know why it's selecting everything. Oops, oops, so I was clicking on the wrong one. There we go. Just makes it easier to visualize what it's going to look like. And I'm just debating if I'm happy with how this looks. I'm just moving back to my move tool here and just once again looking for center. And this looks pretty straight here as well. So I'm pretty happy with how that is going to look. So I'm going to flatten my image. I'm going to save it as a PNG. I'm just going to call it my title page. Change that to PNG, and I'm going to save it to my desktop. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is a very similar thing for the next few things here. I don't need any of these anymore. These can all go away. So next I want to make 3x4 pockets using all of these digital files here. So I have this Eat Well, Travel Often, So Much World, Let's Get Lost, this travel story, and this one for some reason is not showing up, See New Things. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go over here and create a new canvas. I'm looking for my 3x4 because again, I use that size often. I'm going to separate the two windows. That's not what I was trying to do there. I'm going to click on my move tool one more time and I'm going to drag and drop. Now this is going to be probably quite a bit larger, so I'm just going to make it smaller. And I need to decide now if I'm going to have them be like really large and take up almost the whole pocket, or if I want them more centered. So I'm just going to take a look at how that looks. And there might be a lot of other ways to do this. This is kind of just how I have learned to play. So I think I like that because there's a fairly generous, if not equal, amount of space going all around the sides there. Because it's so narrow, this will be a little bit shorter and this is going to be a little bit wider just because of the dimensions of the piece. So I'm going to flatten my image and save this as, I'm just going to call it Lost. Have that saved to my desktop. And then I'm going to repeat that with the other 4 digitals, but I'm not going to show you all of those. Next, I'm going to jump into the Silhouette software, show you how easy it is to move that. Some people might have a Cricut, you might have a different version of the Silhouette. I'm just going to show you the basics of what I do and what it looks like as I put this all together. Silhouette Studio, and I'm going to click File, Open. I've already set my template here to 9x12. I'm going to go to my desktop here. And I'm going to go to my title page. I'm going to click OK and let that come into view here. Sometimes it can take a second. So just deciding on, the nice thing about this is I don't have to look at this and go, that seems a little too high, because once this is cut out, I can place it sort of wherever I need to. So what we're going to do is go over here to this little butterfly looking icon, which is the trace icon. We're going to click on Select Trace Area. I'm going to trace the entire design. And it all looks pretty, like mostly all yellow. I'm going to see if it doesn't need the high pass. It's pulling all the information basically. So I'm going to click Trace. Now you can see that there's a red outline here when I move my stuff away. So I'm actually going to cut this, and this is going to be my new digital template that I'm going to be working with. So I am going to very quickly, as you can see, be sending this to my Silhouette. So what I'm going to click on here is I have Vinyl Glossy. That's probably going to be the one that I stick with here. It is a metallic, so I'm considering of maybe switching it to the metallic. And I do have a glitter one that the 3x4s are going to be. Oops. So I'm thinking maybe I'll select the metallic. I actually have to get my silhouette out and take a look at it. These are going to be the suggested settings for the piece. I'm probably going to bump this up here to about a 3. And then I usually don't really mess with these settings here at all. And then sometimes if I think it needs it, I'll do more than one pass. Usually with vinyl, I don't really have an issue with it. What I need to do now is go plug in my Cameo. And then all I'm going to do after that, this is going to change and allow me to click send. And I will show you what that looks like. So off camera, I changed my size from 9x12 to 7x12 because there's a lot of extra space and I didn't need to cut my piece of vinyl that wide. So I trimmed that with my 12x12 trimmer, and then I'm adding just a little bit of washi tape to help hold it down. This sometimes can warp and it will make it pop right off of the sticky pad. So I'm just showing you a sped up version there of it cutting on the silhouette. And then here I'm taking my paper piercer and I'm weeding out the center of the letters or the digital elements that I have on there. So once I do that, then I can peel off the main backing all around the letters, which I'm about to do here. Sometimes you have to be really careful because the letters can tear, but this came out fairly well. Like, this is sped up, of course, but worked pretty well for me. So then next I cut a piece of I cut my acetate to 9 3/4 by 12. This way I can decide if I want to punch holes and have it be the size of the page protector. If not, I can trim it back to 9 by 12, but this way I was at least able to give myself the option. So I cut a piece of my transfer paper down, and I always recommend sticking this on your leg or on your skin or something a couple times. You don't want it at full strength or it is almost impossible to pull off of this acetate backing. So it looks a little funny, but it actually doesn't transfer to your transparency. And sorry, you can see my reflection there as I'm standing over my desk. I'm trying to find center of 9 3/4. So I'm just using my tool there to help put everything on, and this is of course sped up and I skipped a lot of parts where I was making sure everything was really smooth, peeling the backing off way slowly, and then I'll be showing you what it looks like without my magnetic background there. I just use that for the grid so that I can get things as straight as possible. It did not come out perfect, but it's good enough. So just putting it on my backer there, smoothing out my G a little bit. And then there you can see what it's going to look like with more of a plain background behind it. I'm very happy with how it came out, and I love that metallic turquoisey blue vinyl. It's just such a fun color. So just kind of trying to show you a close-up there of how it looks, and I love being able to make my own transparencies in this way. You can do a ink machine, but I find that it's a lot harder than vinyl. So here I'm showing you what it looks like with 3x4 cards as I printed those onto the, not printed, but cut them with the champagne glitter vinyl. My top one of the T's ripped, so I'm going to do that one again separately. Now I'm cutting my extra pieces of that acetate that I keep around. Usually I take the 12x12 and cut it down to like a 6x8 size, so I save all my scraps for things like this where I want to make 3x4 inserts. So I'm just showing you there how I'm adding these to make my 3x4 card set. And I really truly am so happy with how this came out, and I hope that you are willing to learn how to do something like this and make your own transparencies. You know, it's such a fun way to help tie together a themed album, and I can't wait to share idea 2 with you next. I wanted to share another digital stamp idea that I had. So I'm working some more in this travel album, and I want to make a 9x12 page with all of these words and icons. So the stamps that I'm using are over here to the left. These are from the 2021 Allie Edwards Travel Collection. So this one was icons and then the map on a 6x8 stamp. And then this one up here has all of these words and some handwritten words. So what I did is I didn't even make any like guides or anything for myself. I just imported almost all these words into my Photoshop, and then I just drug them onto my canvas in a variety of ways, trying to create some balance, trying to, you know, put some dark pieces here and here to move your eyes around the page a bit. And I stopped about halfway here. This is where it's duplicated. So I saved the file. I shouldn't say save the file. I combined everything into one layer, and then I duplicated that layer, and then I copied and pasted it here. It was just slightly cut off at the bottom, but I'm okay with that because I couldn't really do much else with it to fit it on here, because like I said, I didn't create guides or lines, and it was really hard to make everything the same size. I just eyeballed everything using some guides that would pop up from Photoshop. So my plan is, this will be a hybrid page. I think what I'm going to do is use some gold, red, and blue mink foils. So I'm thinking about most of the icons being gold, making the hearts red just for fun to add a little something different. And I will show you how I do that. But basically what you would do is cut out a little square that would go here, here, cover all the icons, and then you would put blue over the entire thing and run it through your ink machine. I'm still debating if I'm going to try to do that on an 8.5 by 11 vellum piece, which I think could look really cool, or if I'm going to try to get it onto some acetate, and we'll see how that goes. So just another cool way that you can use stamps to create your own pattern paper. Think about the fact that this could be cut to a 6x8. It could really be changed to a 3x4. And something to keep in mind, you don't have to have these exact stamps to create a look like this. You could add in digital icons that you have, like this, of a different kind of theme, and then you could just use a regular normal font and type out your words. So there's a lot of different ways that you could take an idea like this and make it your own. So I'm excited to see what it's going to look like once I get it printed and ready for the album. So I decided to print this on an 8.5 by 11 piece of vellum because that's what would fit into my printer, and I'm showing you here how I cut out little squares to cover all the icons. I should have gone with a red or a pink for the hearts. I decided to go with white to match some other pieces of the album that I've been creating. White mink, just for some reason for me, even on the lowest setting, does not come out well, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to redo it. So just pulling off the little pieces here. For the most part, a couple of them shifted a little bit in another color. You know, the blue got in there, or the bonjour at the bottom for some reason didn't have great ink coverage, so it's a little spotty. I did try running it back through with more blue, but it didn't make a difference. So either way, I'm very happy with this. And I'm going to hold up in front of the camera here so you can see some of the shine. It looks really cool. I love the teal, the gold, and that just kind of reminds me of the sand and the water of the Caribbean of the trip that we were on. So hope you're inspired to try something fun like this. Guys, time to show you my next digital stamp idea. So what I'm going to do is add this photo to my travel album that I'm working on. It's going to be one of the first photos, and I decided to make it a double page spread. So it's sized 9 by 12 times 2. So it's going to be 12 inches tall by 18 inches wide. So I'm going to create a guide for myself at the halfway mark at 9 inches so that I can see where the page break is going to be. And I'm going to be using one of these digital words that I have from Allie Edwards that are really, really old, that are travel themed. And the reason I'm choosing these is because they're a little bit thinner. And what I'm going to do is digitally stamp this word onto the photo, print it out, and then I'm going to use some embroidery floss to hand stitch a bold title. So I thought that'd be a fun thing to show you guys. So what I'm probably going to be doing is selecting a color from the sky here somewhere. And I'm just kind of looking at it in my, maybe a little bit more pink, there we go. I'm going to take my bucket tool, recolor the word, dot that little I, then we're going to take the move tool here, and we're going to drag and drop. That didn't pick it up. We're going to drag and drop the word over here onto the photo. So again, keep in mind that you should only ever pull from the corners when you're manipulating a digital file like this. If you go up or down or left to right, it'll warp what it looks like. So I'm going to add a little bit more journaling here as well, and actually probably something really simple like vacation starts now. Also, I apologize, my cat is screaming his head off in the background, trying to get in because I don't have him in the office right now while I'm working on this. One thing I am considering though is maybe a slightly lighter color. It doesn't really matter because it's going to get stitched over, but I do, in case some of it shows through, I want it to be the right color. There we go, just slightly brighter. So I just used the zoom tool there to zoom in so I could dot that I. So I'm pretty happy there with the placement. I feel like it's angled up just so slightly. So I'm going to just take the curve tool and make it a little bit more straight. I'm going to create a new layer. And add, I think I'm just going to add something here that says vacation starts now or something like that. So I just need to figure out what font I want to use. My regular go-tos are Evelith, which is a paid font, Remington Noiseless as a title font. I also really like letterpress script, but I'm thinking that maybe I will go with Evelith. And maybe drop that down to a 75. That's still too big, but let's go down to like a 50-point font. That's better. I'm just going to drag and drop that over here. And I think I like how that looks just like that as a nice title page opener. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten all the files there. I'm going to save it and get it printed out, and then I will show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do a chain stitch. I have a few started here. The trick with chain stitches is that you're going in and out of the same holes. So I have a few that I've started. I'm going to start by going down inside a hole here. I'm going to leave a loop. I'm going to come up from behind in the next hole, through the hole, and pull it gently and not too tight. Now we're going to go back down through that same hole again. Hopefully you can see well. I'm going to leave a loop. My threads didn't pull quite tight enough. Hold on one second, let me get that straight. Okay. I'm going to come up from behind again. I'm going to go through that loop. And we're going to pull gently. And then we're going to just keep going. So when you first start out on your first hole, you'll do the exact same thing. You'll start from the bottom, loop back around. I didn't catch my thread right that time. So I actually just need to go back out.
it does twist around a lot, which can be a pain. I just need to get back through all 4 pieces there. And sometimes it loops a little. I'm definitely not an expert. So back down through, up through the middle, or up through the next one, through the middle of that loop. I'm just going to keep going till the end here. And I'll show you how to finish it off. And I'm not worried super much about pulling it tight and making even stitches. I apologize. I'm just trying to finish so I can show you. Okay, so when you are done with your chain stitch, you'll go back down. If you're on fabric, you could go down like the next hole, or you could punch a little hole. You're just going to go back down through that loop again and tie it down. Okay, but just to give you an idea of what it'll look like, and I'm going to go ahead and get working on my project. I know it's going to take me a while, and I will show you what it looks like when I'm all done. Okay, just a quick shot looking down at my desk here, showing you how I'm punching my holes into the photo. I have a box that is like it's a box of books came in, and so I have some room to like punch down into a hollow space. You could also use a mouse pad, and this works really well for me. So just taking my time, this is actually sped up, making sure that the holes are nice and even, and then some quick shots here of what it looked like when it was completely done, of a close-up and the whole photo. So one of the last things that I wanted to show you guys is how I've utilized these kind of tips and tricks in other albums that I have already completed. So this is a Jamaica album that I did last summer. The entire footage for making this is on my YouTube channel, but I just wanted to show you an example of a vinyl cutout that I made with the country of Jamaica, the word Jamaica, and then the place and the dates of our trip. Or an example of how I always create my itineraries. This time, instead of using digital icons and stamps like I did for you guys in another video, I had actual physical pieces here, but I printed on photo paper. Or let's go to some examples of digital stamps on photos that were printed. So this was a piece from Allie that I used. Here's another one. And I reduced the opacity on these so that you could still see the water in the background, like the texture of the water. And then jumping back to here is the last page I want to show you, and one more page here from another album where I did some digital art and added some puffy stickers to make it a nice little hybrid page or photo. So I just want to give you an example of that. But the final thing that I wanted to show you here was this page, and I have an entire video created on it, so I'm not going to redo it again, but you can take your silhouette and use digital stamps and files to create your own screen print for paint. So I don't know if you'll be able to see the texture on here, but what I did is I created this whole file in Photoshop, learned how to make a photo screen, a paint screen, silk screen, which I will show you in the video that I'm going to link, and drug paint across it to make my own file on some pattern paper. So lots of ways that you can use digital files on your photos. You can enhance them with a mink, you can enhance them with a silhouette and vinyl. You could do the stitching like I showed you. Here you could use paint and really make all of your projects your own. So I really hope that you enjoyed what I had to show you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thanks once more to Shu-Wen for inviting me to participate in the Stretch Your Stamps series for digital stamps. Hope you learned something, and thanks so much for watching.